everybody, it's Odom again. I'm going to do a real quick gear looking up guide and giving you guys some tips on getting from 80 to 85 and then trying to gear up for heroics. First off, do some research. For gear, you want to go to Wowhead or any other site that you can really think Alakazam. I don't know how updated they are anymore, but any site. I mean, Wowheads have normally been really good on keeping up to date on stuff that you can get. Right now, all I really see from them is like the PvP blue crafted sets and stuff like that, and those are for Moonkin. Please, for God's sakes, if you're healing, do not get gear that doesn't have Spirit on it as one of the primary stats. Do not reforge. I mean, if every once in a while, if you have come across an item that is like blows your mind, that's like, holy crap, dude, that's like crazy. Go ahead, take it, reforge whatever stat you don't need into it, into Spirit, that's fine. But don't do that very often. Alright, that's absolutely horrible. You don't want to do that. But the site's wildhead.com, and right in the front there you saw how I got to it. You can just get into the crafting section and see what they have out there right now. I'm sure there's more to it. You know, I have a couple buddies that are leather workers, and you know, they told me that they have more than what's listed right now. And so I mean, just give it a little bit of time. When you get you can also go into the jewel crafting list. You can go and look like archaeology, for example. I'm grinding my butt up on that. Get to 525. I'm doing archaeology and getting that what's her color, that bind on account staff. You know, I mean, if I don't get anything better before I do it, I still want to get archaeology maxed out. But that's one of the things that I want. I want those bind on account stuff. So anyway, beyond that, leather. Try to stick with leather, and I'll show you why later. Okay, you want to stay with your specialization stat, or at least if you find a piece of cloth gear that's like blows the other stats out of the water, or a few pieces of cloth, ask yourself, do you want to lose 5% of your mana? Because pretty much 5% of your intellect, which also intellect translates into spell power, translates into crit. Do you want to lose 5% of your intellect? You know what I mean? Which honestly, it's not that big of a deal, really. I mean, unless you got, I mean, the more intellect you have, the bigger deal it is. But that's what you have to ask yourself. I'm going to try to stay with leather in all slots. If I stay with leather in all slots, you'll be all good. As far as maintaining mana in instances, I will say just know when not to heal. Know when to just stand there and do nothing. Nourish is a really good heal when it comes to conserving mana. It's low mana cost, so I mean, if people are taking light damage, like actually in Throne of Tides on normal, there's a part in the first fight where there's ads that come in and do chain lightning. The chain lightning doesn't do that much damage. One rejuvenation could handle each person that's doing it, but a rejuvenation at 83 or even 84 or whatever level you're doing it at is pretty ridiculous as far as how much mana it costs. I mean, I think it's a hell of a lot less mana to use Nourish, and it's a little higher cast time, but I honestly don't care. You know, I mean, in a situation like that, it's like if everyone's just around 70-80%, use Nourish. You save a lot of mana. Try to hold off on getting Innervate or using Innervate until later. In a boss fight, if you get down to, if something crap hits the fan early on in a boss fight, pop it as soon as you get to 60% mana. Let it help you get back up there, and try not to cast at all, pretty much, while it's metting back up. I don't know, those are the tips for that. I mean, it's pretty much knowing the setup too. Some of the fights, you just have to experience them and then be able to translate what happens to the group's health into what you need to do to set it up for it. Like, there's one trash pull in Throne of Tides. They throw you up in the air, you come back down, and you land in an area effect where they're stomping on the ground. Well, you have to know to put Rejuve on everybody and Wild Growth as soon as you hit the ground and haul ass. And that normally works pretty good. It took me once going through that, when everyone almost got down to, it was almost like 30% because they didn't know to move right away, to realize that I had to actually make a setup plan for that pull. And the good thing is I will say do all of the normal instances. repetitively. Okay, because I mean the gear is easy to find. Like I'm showing you here, right here, for the factions. You go into every faction vendor. Guardians of Hydra is the one that we have to grind for our head enchant. If you're an inscriptionist, you don't have to worry about your shoulder enchant like I do. But so I'm not exactly sure where you're going to get the shoulder enchants from. I believe it's going to be something else set up just like help me out here. Hordeer was, but I never really worry about it, honestly, because I don't need them. I'm an inscriptionist anyway. But check those gear too, because what you want before you go into heroics, from as far as I've been talking to people, is around 333 item level. That's average item level. If you look on your character sheet on your basic stats, it'll say what your average item level is. Right now, I think I'm a little over 300. So I still have some work to do to bring those other slots up. But like, even if you, but do all the quests. For God's sakes, do all the quests. Do all the quests in Vanshir. Do all the quests in Hydra to start. That will give you a good reputation start for the reputations that you're going to have to grind. Because it's just like Wrath. You're going to have to take the steps and make to grind those factions. And and just go in. Hell, even good example, Atlas loot. In-game Atlas loot. It has all the drops from all the bosses and all the regular and heroic instances. Oh, here, actually, I'll show you that in just a second. You can go in there, make a wish list of all the gear that you want from all the 5-mans before you go into a heroic, or start doing heroics. And pretty much all you have to do there is just make the wish list, and then whenever you get something done, you can take it off your wish list. I mean, it's beautiful. It's all about making a plan. All right, that's pretty much all it is. You get into some of the regulars right now. The boss fights compared to the heroics are hella fucking easy. They're hella easy. Most of the fights that actually have strats to them at 85 at heroic are child's play at normal. So use that. Use that to grind the hell out of the factions that you can. Get them all to exalted. If you know you got a piece of gear at exalted that's going to take your item level up, do it. Do not get anything. I mean, as far as gemming, let me do this while it's still on my mind. If you have problems keeping your mana up in an instance, like long-term fights, okay, and you don't know what it is, and you keep on running out of mana and people keep on dying, the simplest thing to do is to gem for spirit. Okay, if you're okay with your mana is staying up pretty good, and or at least it's lasting you to the end of the fight on a normal basis, then you can gem for haste, or you can gem for more intellect. Intellect, I would suggest, is better than haste because it gives us bigger heals, it gives us more crit, it gives us a bigger mana pool. It gives you 3 shots in 1. Haste, all it does is increases how fast your heal over times tick, and it increases how fast you can actually cast a heal, which can be good, but you'll get enough of that in gear. I'm sure you will. If you haven't noticed, while I've been talking, my mouse has been keeping you entertained with gear that I find. I kind of hold my mouse cursor over there for a second so you can drool. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this before, but right now, if you're leveling from 81 to 85, once you get to 83 or 82, I think it's whenever you can open up Blackrock Caverns, go out to Blackrock Mountains, unlock it, and start doing it. The reason I say that one specifically is that's the first one that you can do that's actually going to give you rep from wearing the Talbert for whatever reputation you want to grind. Okay, so if you can do that once a day, Blackrock Caverns, and you'll have a good head start. You gotta get Guardian to Hydra up for your head enchant, like I said, and just aside from that, that's pretty much it. Just try to get the best gear that you can. There are some trinkets out there that are kind of iffy. Like they could be used for caster damage or caster healer, but honestly, be cordial to people. I mean, if you got a mage in there and there's a trinket that drops. I believe there's one that drops from Blackrock Caverns. It's like 200 intellect and it procs 1900 haste rating. Give it to the mage. It's awesome for you. It's really awesome for you. But if there's a mage in the group, just give it to the mage. If it's mostly melee, to need on it. Don't feel bad about needing on it. But I mean, it's not going to help your healing as much as it's going to help his DPS. And if you already got far enough into the group and kill the boss in the instance, then obviously your healing isn't suffering. You know, his DPS getting better will help the group overall. So aside from that, like I said, gear-wise, just be careful on what you're getting. You want, like I said, you try to stick with leather. You don't want to screw anybody over or on gear if you're needing on cloth, or you're not. I mean, if it's a damn good piece of gear, go for it. But I would prefer myself. See, there it is. I would prefer myself not to lose 5% of my total intellect. You know what I mean? It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. You know. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't remember if you do all of Advanced Shear and all of Hyja's starting quests. You know, I did all of them in both zones. They're done. A lot of the blue items they give you for quests are different slot type items. So actually, you know, you might get 10 quests in Hyja, you might get a blue item, and 10 quests in Advanced Shear, you might get a blue item that's good for you, but they'll be for 2 different slots, so they'll equally help you out. So I mean, that's what I did, and I was 83.5 before I even left to go to Stonecore. So I had a pretty good jump. But anyway, this has been Odom. I hope that helps everybody out, gives good tips on how to gear up, and I'll see you next time.